So Jill and I haven't run this story yet on pickuptrucktalk.com, but we were working on it. And I'm going to explain why we're working on it. So remember the hubbub about the Tacoma transmission. Huge hubbub. Oh, the world's ending. Tacoma quality is going down. So does qualities in the tank. All going to be recalled. It's going to be a disaster, right? So I always feel like these things are kind of anticlimactic because we got what essentially is a TSB, which is Technical Service Bulletin, about one of the fixes. Now, we don't know if this is just all the transmission fixes or not because NHTSA, God bless the people that put in the reports, they don't put in whether automatic transmission or manual transmission at the time.
Let's back up a little bit.
Yes.
So we did a story a few weeks ago about the Toyota Tacoma transmissions, and everybody's like, the sky is falling, the world is ending. You know, the transmissions, they're completely bad across the board. And so we went in and we looked, and on the NHTSA website, there were 5 complaints about transmission where it said there was complete transmission failure. And it was after 1,000 miles or, it was very low miles where this transmission failure was happening. And I reached out to Toyota and I was just like, hey, we're seeing this thing and people are commenting on, forums, this is the end of the world and you guys did a bad thing. I'm like, do you have any insight? What's going on? And they essentially said, we don't think this is a problem, but we're watching it. And if it becomes a problem, we will take care of it. So we noticed yesterday, I think it was, that there's a TSB coming out to fix a problem with the manual transmission. And Tim and I were like, so have all the problems that have been and complaints been with the manual transmission? Because you go to the NHTSA website and it doesn't say whether it's with the manual transmission or automatic transmission. It's just saying, you can't shift from second to third gear, or, it wasn't accelerating or whatever, and complete transmission failure. Okay, so automatic or manual, but this TSB that comes out is specifically for a fix to the manual transmission. So we've reached back out to Toyota and haven't heard back.
Well, it's interesting because Truck King had a manual transmission that they tried to shift from 5th gear to 1st gear, which is apparently a thing. I don't really do that manual transmission that often. I've never done that, but they did.
I don't even go into 1st gear unless I'm completely stopped.
Yeah, so it's just different. I mean, so they just tried it. It's just a thing people talked about, and then Toyota said it was a problem with the way the shifting worked, but then we get this TSB, which is just interesting. So TSB is not a recall. It's not a recall. They tried to go 5th to 3rd.
Okay, that's good. Because I'm like, 5th to 1st is a very bad idea.
Well, maybe they slipped into 1st. Yeah, it was a weird. The video was kind of unclear what Howard Elmer's dad. Howard's a great guy, and he accidentally went into 1st. That was the deal. Okay. Doug's got it right. Again, tired old man. Give me a break. But anyways, so we have then this TSB comes out, and it's not a recall, but it's interesting. It says manual transmission unable to select second, 4th, and or 6th gear. So it's interesting. It's the even number gears. And they said that some 2024 Tacomas equipped with the manual transmission may exhibit a condition where the vehicle is unable to shift into 2nd, 4th, or 6th gear, but is able to shift into other gears. Further inspection shows signs of cracking from the floor shift control shift lever, retainer sub-assembly housing. Jesus criminy, engineering speak. To address this condition, the manual transmission assembly needs to be replaced. Follow the repair procedure in the bulletin. So they're talking about there's a variety of Tacomas from the TMMGT plant, which is the Mexico plant. 4-wheel drive. This is the engine. That is I don't think that's a hybrid engine. These are if you're listening to
podcasts, you can't have a manual transmission with the hybrid. So
yeah, you can't, right? Yeah. Engine. If you listen to this podcast, I apologize. I'm going to try to say this stuff out loud, but production change effective VIN. So they have VIN numbers of when the change was happening. So the bulletin applies vehicles produced before production change effective VINs. So they caught the problem in the plant and they're going to fix it. And so they showed some pictures of this. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to scroll down for a few things. I may put a link to it in the description down below of this live stream. But they have a floor shift control shift lever retainer subassembly. Whew. And
I'm like, what?
And so then they show in this transmission, and they literally show a crack in what I would consider the housing. I mean, the housing of the transmission. They show a crack in there, and so if there's a crack, then you need to continue step 5, and you basically replace the transmission
so
completely.
Before you continue, can I just say, and maybe I'm dating myself here, do you remember Choose Your Own Adventure books?
Yes. Yes.
If yes, go to page 34. If no, go over here. This seems like a Choose Your Own Adventure TSB here. If yes.
Right. Yeah. No, it's interesting. It very much, that's what TSBs I've read are this. So the idea here is if you have a problem in your manual transmission shifting, you go to dealership pulls up the VIN. They cross-reference the VIN with this number from the TSB. Then they go through the steps. They basically drop transmission. They confirm the condition exists. They remove the manual transmission. They remove the floor shift control lever retainer subassembly. They look at it. If there's a crack, congratulations, you won a new transmission. It's all covered in the warranty on this TSB. So they found that it's really interesting. And there was some conversations. I got this from Tacoma World. I was over there the other day, and somebody posted this TSB, which is really interesting to see. So I definitely thank you those guys over there. And I was looking through it, and it just sounds like there was a problem in the casting of this metal sub floor shift control shift lever retainer subassembly, and so now we have they had a problem with that in factory or something like that. It cracked. They put a new one on there. Done. So that seems to me, again, I feel like it's kind of the anticlimactic thing where they're like, hey, looks like we had some problems with these from the factory. Not all of them. We had some of them. Production issue, supplier issue, yada, 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 whatever. And then boom, we're done. This is the fix. Okay. And people were saying, like, people in the Tacoma world were actually interesting when they were talking about stuff as well. They're like, so why did they replace the entire transmission and not just the housing assembly? And I was like, I don't know. That's a good one. Why wouldn't you just replace the part that cracked rather than the whole thing? But the whole thing's going to be replaced. Done.
Just to make sure. Just to make sure there are no future problems. I think that's the end goal here.
Yes.